diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and today I have with me Kade Parmelly, who's an offensive guard out of Abilene Christian. How you doing, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me on today.
Can you just describe to our viewers a little bit about your overall career?
Yeah, so born and raised in Abilene, Texas. I went to high school at Abilene Wiley, played football there, and then got recruited by ACU. And so I came, and my freshman year, was kind of a backup role and played a lot of positions. My first year, I played right tackle, right guard, left guard, and really just kind of whatever that they needed me to do. And then ended up starting a few games towards the end of my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, started every game at right guard. And then this last year, my junior year, I started every game at left guard.
Cool. So I was going to ask you, what do you believe is like the best part about your game? What's the best thing you bring to the table?
Yeah, the best part of my game, I would say, is a couple things. Is again my versatility,
Versatility.
Versatility. There it is. Playing multiple positions. I've started and I have game experience at 3 positions, and I think that's a big part of my game. But then also too, just the mental aspect of knowing the game, and I feel like I know the game really well. I can break it down, on film, but then also too, just being able to, be out there on a football field and make adjustments on the fly, and being able to correlate, film room to actual game time. And so I feel like I'm a very smart player, and that's something that really helps me out a lot.
Cool. And what have you been working on this particular off season in order to better your game?
Yeah, a lot of what I've worked on this off season has been, overall just foot speed, agility, things like that, and moving laterally, being able to adjust, being able to have quick feet, and when a defender, makes a move on you, being able to move with him, and that. But then also too, taking the mental aspect of the game pretty seriously as well. Obviously, with COVID, a lot of people didn't have access to weight rooms, and fortunately, I had access to a full weight room, had a football field to be able to still train on, and so that was, I didn't really lose anything in that aspect. So I had to really make sure that, where everybody else was going to be making strides was the film room, and so I had to make sure I stayed on top of things that way as well.
Great. So Kade, I have you listed in my notes, 6'3", 308 pounds. And also that you're a team captain there. Talk to me maybe about what that means to you, being a team captain, and maybe what kind of a leader you are.
Yeah, obviously being voted on as a team captain is a huge accomplishment. It's something that our team votes on, and so our coaches don't really have any say in that. So it's really, really special to be seen as a leader from your players as well. And so, one thing that I really try to instill in my leadership quality is being a guy who leads from the front. So not necessarily the most vocal, but being a leader, doing everything right, being on time, things like that. But then also being a vocal guy who can kind of back up his words, and meeting players where they're at, being able to advocate for the team, to the coaching staff, and being able to really understand what the team is feeling like, and kind of where we're at. And so I think that's a big part of my leadership style.
Cool. I was going to ask you to share a memorable play or moment in your career so far. Maybe a highlight that you like sharing.
Yeah, one of my most favorite plays was from my junior year this last year, when we played McNeese State. Towards the end of the game, we ended up going into overtime, and we had just we just recovered a fumble, and so we're going into our end zone, and I had known on film that short yardage goal line, I usually got in a 4-point stance, and I knew that it was something pretty obvious. And so, and the ball would usually follow right behind me and our left tackle. And so we're on our goal line, and we call power where I'm pulling right. And so I knew, if I get in a 4-point stance, I may be able to get these guys if they watch some film, and I get in a 4-point stance, and usually, when you're in a 4-point stance, you're not pulling, and defense starts yelling, "Ball's coming right here, right, A gap, and I ended up pulling around, and I think a running back was able to walk in the end zone. So it was a pretty special moment that I could participate in.
Great. So you duped them. So
Yeah.
cool. Hey, in my notes, I actually have that you were a pretty decent track and field athlete in high school. Throwing a shot put 54 feet 2 inches, as well as a discus 156 and 4 inches. Talk to me maybe about your experience, playing that sport, and maybe how it translates to the football field for you.
Yeah, being a thrower in high school is, really, I really enjoyed it. But how that kind of correlates to football is, a little bit different, because throwing is, more of a individual self competition, whereas football is a team competition. But just overall power and force to be able to generate, throwing an object that far, and you have to be able to move people on a football field. You have to be able to generate a lot of force, and have to be able to just move people against their will. And so I think that's kind of how it correlates, because you have to do a lot of strength training for being a successful thrower, and you have to be in love with the weight room as well if you're a football player. So I think that's kind of how those two correlated.
Great. And I also understand that you are in love with the weight room. 405-pound hang clean. So I mean, obviously, you can get at that. Very good number there. Let's just take a second and see who you are, like off the football field, like other than sports. Talk to me about who you are. Let's maybe start about you as a student there at Abilene Christian. What's been your major there?
So I just graduated my undergrad in 3 years with a major in kinesiology. So pretty proud of that. I came in and was able to get a lot of credits really soon, and finished pretty early. So I just graduated undergrad with kinesiology.
Cool. And maybe share some of your interests, hobbies, really anything that maybe you're passionate about that you want to share with people.
Yeah, I love going out and shooting guns, and going and hunting, and when we have time outside of season and stuff. And so I love outdoorsy, being able to just kind of almost like a caveman type feeling, man. You got a gun on your side, and going and hunting is a lot of fun.
So what are we hunting? Are we hunting deer, rabbit, squirrel? What are we hunting?
Well, it's hard to hunt deer in football season, but I do enjoy that. But more in the summer when we're hunting varmints and stuff at night.
Sure. I mean, you got to take care of those critters too, I guess. Yeah. Also understand that you're a leader with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've been a student leader for FCA group here on campus for a couple years now, going on 3. And so, we meet weekly as leaders, and we kind of are able to get prepared for the week, go through our Bible study, and then we also, after that, we have another weekly Bible study with student athletes from all across campus. So, I'm able to meet a lot of different student athletes on campus, which is a really cool experience, and being able to walk through them through different, scripture, and just do life with a lot of different athletes from just different backgrounds and stuff. It's really unique.
Awesome. So Kade, I want to give you the opportunity maybe to give a shout out to a few guys. First, let's kind of talk about some of your mentors, maybe a coach, some of the guys that have really helped shape you into the person and player that you are. Go ahead, talk to me about maybe one of those guys.
Well, I think, a couple of coaches that really stick out in my mind is one, my position coach here. He's really shaped me into who I am as a player. He's really evolved my game in a really good way. It's Mario Jabriel. Outside of football, another really good mentor for me is a guy named by the name of Christian. He's our FCA director. And so he's a guy that has always been there for me. In the really tough times of my life, the last 3 or 4 years, and just a guy that I can always count on that will always, be there regardless of the circumstances, and who loves me unconditionally.
Right. And kind of along those same lines, let's talk about maybe one of your teammates there, maybe one of the guys that just impresses you.
I think the guy that impressed me the most is definitely Jack Gibbons, one of our linebackers, and he's such a smart, instinctual football player. He always knows where to be. He's always at the right spot at the right time. Blocking him is a lot of fun because he's really, really good. And so I like to say that if you can block him, you can block anybody else in our conference, in our league, and really at our level of D1. And so I really enjoyed playing with him.
Great. I know I had interviewed Gibbons a while back and he's a big guy, man. Big guy playing linebacker. They could probably put him at the end if they really wanted to. So
yeah, we love to mess with them about that too. So
that's all cool. Hey man, let's kind of shift gears, try and wrap up a little bit. I ask guys this question, and it's really the why question. Talk to me about your motivation, maybe why you play football.
Yeah, I think I have a couple whys of why I do things. Obviously my parents, I love them to death. They've really only missed like one game my whole career, so they're always there for me. But above all else, my ultimate why of why I do things is my faith in Jesus Christ. And so I became a Christian later on in high school, and ever since then it's always been my motivation. It's always been why I get up at 5 a.m. during the spring every day and go and beat your body down. It's why I go to fall camp. It's really the motivation for me to endure hardships and good things in my life. And outside of that, I really have nothing else to stand on. So
great. Cool. And give me your final pitch to a professional team. Why should they sign you, draft you? What do you bring as a teammate?
Yeah, as a teammate, I'm going to be a very selfless teammate. First and foremost, I'm always going to put the organization above myself. I'm going to be super selfless in that aspect. But you're also going to get a very versatile player, a guy who's played multiple positions, a guy who's smart, who knows the game. Who's able to, adapt on the run, who's able to take coaching, take the film room and put it into game situations, and a guy who's always gonna, never settle for second best, but always striving to be the best there is.
Great. Great things, Kade. I really appreciate our time. Just kind of sitting here talking with you. Get to know you, as a person and player. Again, this is Kade Parmelly. He is one of the better offensive players at the small school level. Again, I have you 6'3", 308 pounds. Great team leader. Very very physical player up front. Definitely knows what he's doing. Definitely check him out. Kade, thank you so much for your time, man.
Yep, thanks for having me on.